Weirdos, I'm Gory B Movie, and this is Gory Talk. It's like a late night talk show, but with more beheadings. Anyway, tonight I have a very special guest for you. We've got Taylor Bartle. He is one half of the Grave Plot podcast, and they also have a film festival, and now he's got a new podcast. It's all about theme parks, and it's super radtastic. Before I introduce him, and without further ado, here is Taylor.
Hello.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I was good, and then I got a hair in my eye. You ever have one that just
never
like pokes you right in the eye? Just like stabs you? Like
yeah.
It's that movie Opera. That's kind of how I feel right now.
That's no good.
I know. Look at my rad shirt. Look at this.
That is a great shirt, I would have to say.
So, Grave Plot podcast since 2013, my dude.
Yeah. We just had our 12-year anniversary in October, so
it's a podcast about as long as I've been married.
That's wild.
That's like kind of like your marriage to Tony, who was the other half.
It kind of is. Yeah, it's basically like that.
My cat is now scratching on the door, but you know what? He's fine. He's fine. If he gets the axe out and goes full Jack Torrance, then we got problems. But he's okay.
Then you can worry. Yeah.
Yes. So, have you and Tony been friends your whole lives?
No, me and Tony met. We tried to start we did start a band when we were, I want to say, I think we were both, well, no, I'm a couple years older than him. So I think he was 21. So I must have been like 22 or 23. And I'm now 42. So, like 20, 21 years.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a really long friendship, dude.
Yeah. This is, that's the most I've committed to anything in my whole life.
So, what was the band called? Can I
ask? It was called Ghosts of Sherwood.
Nice. So, was it kind of like a horror band?
No, it was kind of a punk metal crossover kind of band.
When did you guys realize you had horror movies in
common? That actually didn't happen until later. We played a Halloween show at Club Impact in Tacoma where we all dressed like zombies. So that kind of started it. And like Tony made flyers for it that had Reagan from The Exorcist, and it said, the power of Christ compels you to come to this show and stuff. Which was funny because it was at a Christian club, even though like we weren't a Christian band in any sense.
It's a Christian movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they believe in Jesus. That's what you need to be Christian, right?
Yeah. I mean, she, bangs herself with a crucifix. So.
And then they compelled the Christ into her and she got better.
I guess that's what happened.
That's the movie in a nutshell, guys. I just spoiled this movie for you. I'm so sorry. It's a little old, though.
You should have seen it by now, probably.
You really. If you haven't seen The Exorcist, I feel like you probably have no interest in this show. So
that's probably accurate, yeah.
Exactly. So you guys played this show, and then you were like, "Hey, I like horror movies. You like horror movies?" Or was it like, "Hey, have you seen The Exorcist? Come back to my place. We're just gonna watch some movies."
I really don't remember how it kind of started, but like when we decided that we were going to start a podcast, we both were like, what are we both really into? And at one point we were just like, well, we both like horror movies. And that just kind of became the impetus.
So do you guys like all horror movies, or is there a certain subgenre that you guys are both more interested in?
I mean, we like them all. I think I'm more into zombies than Tony is. Tony's kind of more into vampires and werewolves. Tony's a big werewolf guy.
Did he ever play Vampire the Masquerade? I kind of get the vibe that he did.
Not to my knowledge.
Dude, he needs to.
Okay, well,
I
tell him.
did
I don't know.
goth kid in high school, so wow. So
Um,
zombies. What are your favorite zombie movies?
I mean, so my favorite movie of all time is Shaun of the Dead.
That movie's so
Um,
good.
yeah, I got a Shaun of the Dead tattoo.
Nice.
Uh, it's funny because one of the first movies that really got me into horror was the original Dawn of the Dead. But although I watch it now and I'm just like, man, this isn't that good.
A lot of it, like I remember, so that was one of the three movies I was forbidden to watch as a kid, right? My dad had three movies. I couldn't watch The Evil Dead, and I was allowed to watch a lot of horror movies. I could watch Carrie when I was like 6. I couldn't watch The Evil Dead because it scared the shit out of him. Couldn't watch Dawn of the Dead because apparently it was super scary, and I couldn't watch The Exorcist. So we had these really cool babysitters. This like punk guy that my dad was a waiter with. Guy was super rad. He'd be there like passed out drunk on our floor in the morning, but we'd bring him cereal, and he was like our little buddy. Anyway, his name was Liam, and he was our babysitter. And he was like, you know what, young Gory, I feel like you are old enough to watch Dawn of the Dead with me and my girlfriend. And I was like, dude, I'm like pretty much an adult now. I'm like 6 years old, but I was like, I'm pretty much an adult now. And I got my beverage, sat down with them. The movie starts. The first time someone gets bit, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go check on my brothers. I'm gonna go. So, but I've watched it since then. I have to agree. Like it's not that scary. They're very blue.
Yeah, the makeup effects, even though it's Tom Savini, the makeup effects are not great by today's standards. And there's just like a lot of downtime in the movie.
Yeah, a lot. Like when they're just hanging out in the mall, and I think that's to help us kind of convey the passage of time. Because they're bored, and it's trying to make us bored. But you do really feel the runtime. Though I still rewatch this movie a lot. So
Yeah, and I also think it's like they're trying to kind of lull you into a false sense of security. And
so when the
so,
bikers come, you're all
yeah, well, that's the other thing. When the first, big event happens, it's not even zombies, it's these bikers.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that movie, I really liked it the first time I watched it, and it really kind of kickstarted my interest into horror and especially zombies. Then I went back and I watched all the other Romero movies. But yeah, watching it now, I'm just like, this does not hold up to today's standards.
Is it
But
the
it's funny, like,
pacing, you think?
I
Or is
think it
it that
is.
she's
Yeah.
drinking when she's pregnant? I mean, it's a zombie apocalypse. What are you gonna do? I like the remake a lot. Do you like the remake?
I don't, but
Nah.
honestly, it's just because I have a thing against running zombies.
I
I'm
gotcha. So what
I
is
am
it
a
about the running
purist
zombies?
because they're dead bodies. They're decaying. They're rigor mortis riddled. Like they're not going to be fast. I can What I like is I think George Romero had this somewhat where it's like fresher zombies can move a little faster,
Okay.
whereas the more they decay, they kind of get more and more lumbering.
So like in Day of
But
the Dead when they're all skeleton-y.
yeah, but in
Maybe not.
in uh in Zack Snyder's movie, it's just they're just sprinting everywhere. Like even the big fat zombie that couldn't even move when she was alive. Now all of a sudden she's this Olympic level sprinter.
That's fair. What do you think of damn it. I just lost it. The movie I was gonna ask you about. Oh yeah. 28 Days Later. Do you consider them to be zombies or not?
Well, the writer and director both say they're not, so I'm going to go with them and say no, they're not zombies.
See, here's my theory on zombies. I kind of take it like before Romero, the only zombies in movies were the ones that were under like a voodoo curse. And I
Hmm.
guess a more modern iteration would be something like Serpent and the Rainbow. And I think that counts. And then I think the slow moving zombies count. And I would say, because in 28 Days Later, they're mindless humans who want to eat other humans, I think it tracks. I think they count.
but they're not dead.
Well, but you're not dead if you're a voodoo zombie either, and those were the OG zombies.
I suppose.
All
I
right.
don't know. Romero was my first foray into zombies, so it's always that's my zombie.
No, that makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. Just, feeling it out a bit. So, zombies and vampires. Is there a movie that has both that you guys have explored?
Not that I can think of.
I'm surprised there isn't, because I can think of a zombie alien movie. Undead.
Yeah.
But not zombie vampires.
Other than like A
Like,
Nightmare Before Christmas.
or like they're ghouls. When they have ghouls, like in Fright Night?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you started the Grave Plot podcast, and was it hard getting going at first?
Well, I mean, our first episode is so dreadful. It's so terribly bad because we recorded with the onboard microphone on Tony's laptop. We tried recording with like Rock Band microphones at one point, and so we do this segment called Horror Business, which is like
Huh.
horror news. But when we first started, we were like, we are going to talk about all the horror news that happened in the past 2 weeks. And so we're trying to just like talk so fast to try and get all these news stories out. And we're not actually talking about the stories. We're just like, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And it's just so awful. And finally we were like, what if we just did 5 stories and actually like break them down, give our thoughts on them, give our opinions. And so that's become a much better flow. But yeah, early on it was pretty hard to listen to.
I think a lot of people, whether it's podcasting or YouTube, you look at your early stuff and you're just like cringe. But I mean, you learn, right? So you guys upgraded your mics, you upgraded your thing, you get more comfortable.
Yeah.
Now you guys do the 2 movies every episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes we have like a theme where we'll do 2 vampire movies or 2 new movies, or these 2 movies with the same director or something. But other times it's just like, oh, we've never done this movie, we've never done that movie. Those both seem fun. Let's do that.
How do you guys go about choosing the movies?
We each pick one.
That's fair. So, was there a certain point during your podcasting journey where you guys felt like you had finally accomplished it? Like now you were podcasters?
I'll tell you if it happens.
Yeah.
Not yet.
No, I feel like you guys are. Here's something very challenging about podcasting, and I've asked a lot of people, and it seems like it's just something that's really hard for a lot of podcasters is connecting to your audience.
Yes, absolutely. We've been at it for 12 years. We've seen people in our audience come and go. We've never really, we're not blowing up the charts. We've never seen ourselves on the Apple must listen charts. We've never seen the kind of numbers that, like Mark Maron or somebody gets. So it's kind of hard when you're comparing yourself to people who are famous for podcasting. And so you look at your numbers and you're like, oh man, that's kind of terrible. But then it's like, think about if you were in a room talking to 150 people.
Yeah.
Like when you think of it that way, you're like, that's pretty cool. Like
Yeah,
this is 150 people that I don't know who are listening to me every other week.
I feel like that about a lot of YouTube videos. If a video gets just like 1,000 views, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a bummer because it's not as good as a lot of other videos. It's certainly not viral. But then you think, wow, if 1,000 people stop to listen to me talk about something, like that would be impressive. So yeah. Danny has a question for you. He says, my next movie will be under 15 minutes. So can I enter it in your film festival? Yeah, put him on the spot right here live.
As long as you do it today, because today is the deadline.
Oh.
Otherwise, you're going to have to wait for 2027.
I guess that's a good segue into the film festival. So you guys have this really awesome film festival that I've got to help out with, and I've checked it out before, and it's really neat. What was the inspiration for that? And it's a huge thing. Like, how did you put that together?
So the inspiration was Bone Bat, if I'm being 100% honest.
Which, you might tell them what that is.
Yeah, our friend Steve Holitz runs along with his co-host Gord, they run the Bone Bat Comedy of Horrors Film Festival, which has been going for over 10 years now. And it's just exploded into this multi-day thing now. they have all these films that come in, and it's horror comedy, obviously. So I thought, if they can do it, why can't we do it on just a smaller scale? And I took it to Tony and I said, I'm thinking, what do you think of the Grave Plot Film Fest? And his exact response was, sounds ambitious. So he wasn't 100% on board, but we came to this decision. We're going to do short horror films, 15 minutes or less, all over the world, no restrictions on geography or anything like that. And then every year we break it down to roughly 20 to 30 that we think are the best of the best. And we have a screening here in Seattle, and it's about 4 hours. And last year we moved from the Arc Lodge Cinemas, which unfortunately closed down, to Central Cinema, and it was awesome. We had lots of positive comments on the theater. The people from the theater really liked having us there, so we're going to do it again next year at Central Cinema, and it's a good time. And we always have, we do our awards, which is like best film, best director, and then we have an audience favorite every year as well, where the audience gets to vote on their favorite.
Have you discovered any new filmmakers that you're into through the film festival?
Yeah, there's a guy from Spain. His name is Paul Digler, and he has submitted multiple times. He's gotten in, I think, almost every movie he's submitted. And 2 years ago, he finally won Best Film. And I can't remember the name of it because it was in Spanish, but it was basically about this device that they would put in your ear, and you could. It's kind of like a Neuralink thing that Elon Musk is trying to do.
Okay.
But this one woman gets this music looping in her head constantly.
That would drive you insane.
That's pretty much the idea of the film, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like people are talking to her, and all she can hear is this music, and she's just like, trying to claw this thing out of her ear. And that's what it is. It's very tense. It's very kind of slow, methodical, driving you insane, as opposed to big scary monsters or anything like that. So it was really well done.
Yeah, that's really clever. I think I heard about things like that they would do during World War II to torture people. I think actually the it's on the soundtrack for 28 years later. That broadcast they would play that over and over.
Oh, okay.
Again, the boots thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that, especially if it's inside your ear, you can't cover your ears, you can't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of it because I'm gonna see if I can find it, but it was really good.
So is it just the two of you who do this? I mean,
so it's us two and my friend Kevin Nesgoda, who he wrote a couple horror books, and he's been on Wild Mouse a few times. He also helps us judge. We used to have just judges, like we would cut down to the films that would be in the festival, and then we would have judges come in and kind of do the awards. We kind of moved away from that just because it was really hard to get people to commit. It was hard to try and find new people every year. So it's just kind of us three now.
What's the biggest challenge of trying to put it all together, or have you guys gotten into a good flow now?
I mean, the biggest challenge, honestly, is just making time to watch all the movies, because we get sometimes over 100 submissions, and we got a month to watch all of them, and get together and actually decide which ones we think are the best.
Yeah, I remember the year, I think it was one of the first years you had me and Danny watch a whole bunch of them. There were so many,
Yeah.
and some of them had nothing to do with horror movies. It was just like,
oh, that's the thing. Our first year, we didn't have a submission fee, and so we just got everything. People's like animation tests, and I was just like, what is this?
Yeah,
And yeah, just any like stories, like you said, had nothing to do with horror. Just sometimes we'll get ones that are like fantasy, and we're like, this is really well done, but it just doesn't fit the festival.
Yeah. So you're not having that problem now because they paid a fee, right?
Not as much. I won't say not at all, but it does still happen from time to time. And Syncopat was the name of that, the Pole Diggler. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So I can check it out. Very, very cool. So now you have a new podcast.
I do, yes.
How long ago did you start this one?
A year. It was mid-December.
And Tony does most of your tech stuff and everything, right?
Yeah, Tony does like
Great plot.
he has the recording set up. He does all the editing. So this one I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I do a lot of it just kind of because I use a program called Riverside that lets you
Oh
do
yeah.
text-based editing. So I kind of just search for any place where we're talking over each other or where somebody said something that maybe I need to cut out. So it's easier to do with the text editing, and then I just kind of levelize and normalize and export and be done. I don't do a whole lot of editing as far as that goes.
Yeah, I had a book club podcast, and I think that was my problem. Was I was just over editing it too much and making it perfect. And I think people expect you to, you know, talk like human beings and say things like and and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I know Tony has cut back a lot on the editing of the Grave Plot too, because he used to cut out a lot of the ums and ahs and weird noises that we make, and and
dogs,
that's
I
just
I have my dogs will go
oh
crazy all the
yeah,
time. But then I listen to some, but they're like, and there's an ambulance, and it doesn't bother me when I'm listening to it. They comment on
yeah,
it.
like you said, people want to hear you having a conversation, and that's the way that we have a conversation. When we have a conversation, we're not making sure we're not saying and ah, and we're obviously you don't want to do it too much. If you do it too much, that's something you kind of need to work on before you record, more so than in the editing process. But yeah, I think just a more natural flow, at least for me when I listen to podcasts, that's what I want to hear. I'm not somebody who listens to, um, like podcasts that tell a story or something. I'm more into the
Yeah.
conversational podcasts personally.
I think I listen to a bit of both. When it comes to horror, I listen to a lot of the conversational ones, but with the true crime ones, I kind of like Rotten Mango and the ones where they tell the whole story. So I guess it kind of depends on what it is.
Yeah, I mean the only true crime podcast I listen to is called Small Town Murder,
Yeah,
and it's two comedians doing a
that's
true
interesting.
crime podcast, and so yeah, it's just a lot of conversation. It's funny because only one guy knows the story,
Yeah.
so he's telling it, and the other guy's just like, "No fucking way!" Like the whole time.
Oh
Like,
my god, that's hilarious. Are there other podcasts that inspire you or that you listen to a lot?
uh, so the first podcast that really inspired me and Tony was called the Midnight Podcast, and it was just one guy, Midnight Corey, and it was a whole zombie podcast, and he would talk about literally everything zombies. He would talk about movies, comic books, video games, and sometimes we'd have like people call in. But other than that, it was just him, and we both really enjoyed it, and that was part of what inspired us to do a horror movie podcast. As far as right now, I don't listen to a lot of horror movie podcasts anymore, just kind of because I don't want them to influence my
I get
take on
that.
movies and stuff. I do listen to Podcast The Ride as far as theme park podcasts. But other ones I listen to, like I said, Small Town Murder. And then those same guys have two other podcasts. One is called Crime and Sports, which is exactly what it sounds like. And then one is called Your Stupid Opinions, where they just read people's online reviews and make fun of them.
That's awesome. That sounds fun. I like a podcast when I'm walking the dog. I think podcast is good when you're
Hmm.
in the car, you're doing like long form stuff. So like, taking a walk or whatever. So I listen to the Grave Plot podcast and Faculty of Horror is another one I like. I also listen to so many Buffy ones. That's kind of my addiction. But yeah, so Wild Mouse, you hadn't done the tech stuff before. Were you nervous to start something on your own or were you just really excited to talk about theme parks?
So I wanted to do a theme park podcast for the longest time, and I couldn't really decide on a format. At one point, what I wanted to do was have a podcast where me and a friend of mine, actually Kevin Nesgoda, who I discussed earlier, we talked about doing a podcast where we would kind of make up a podcast on the spot. We would just say, okay, here's a topic. Let's make up a podcast based on this topic. But he didn't really have time, so I thought about doing it kind of how I'm doing it now with Wild Mouse, where I have a different guest every episode. But that seemed a little ambitious. I don't know if it would be. I feel like that would be just a lot of ums and uhs. So I switched to how I'm doing it now, which is basically just a different ride or restaurant or attraction or event or experience of some kind, a different one every single episode. And like I said, a different, yeah, not necessarily a different guest every episode because I have repeated guests, but the idea is to just not have one single co-host, but just kind of cycle through several different co-hosts and try to get new co-hosts all the time.
That's what I do on this show.
There you go. Yeah, basically the
So
same thing, except
yeah,
with theme park
for
rides.
me, I think it's really nice just having the one guest. I mean, I have other shows, and I've been on other people's shows where there's multiple people, especially when you're talking about a movie. I think that's really fun. But I like this format because I feel like I get to know people a lot better. I mean, I've been going to Crypticon with you for years, and I think this is the
Mhm.
most I've ever talked to you. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to have Tony on here, and I feel like I just get to know people a lot more and get to explore their stories, and then hopefully people in the chat who are watching, get introduced to some cool new stuff.
Yeah.
So, with Wild Mouse, one of the things I'm really fascinated by is how you guys were able to talk about one ride for all. I mean, they're about an hour long.
Yeah, I had an episode on this ride called Storm Runner from Hershey Park, Pennsylvania. The ride itself is 50 seconds long, and I did an hour episode on it.
How? How?
Well, we talk about the history of it. We kind of, especially something like that, where it was the first one I'd done in Hershey Park. So we talk about the history of Hershey Park a little bit. But then we just tell a lot of kind of personal stories. The guy was my girlfriend's brother-in-law was on the episode, and it's his absolute favorite ride. So he had all these stories about, riding it. And this was before I had ridden it. I've since ridden it, and it messed me up. I'll tell you what.
How is it scary?
So it's a launch coaster, which means it just takes off.
Okay.
And so if you aren't ready for it, you're pretty much out of breath as soon as this thing takes off. And it's going so fast. Some launch coasters, they'll go and then they'll kind of go up a hill and you get a chance to catch your breath. But this one just goes and goes and goes. And so if you don't immediately start screaming, you're stuck there just kind of going for most of the ride. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah, the launch coasters are really intense. I have been on a few of those. Another thing that I'm curious about is how you guys were able to remember the rides so well, or do you just pick rides that you've been on over and over and over again?
So a lot of times it's somebody who has been on the ride multiple times, or maybe just rode the ride recently, but we'll also like watch ride through videos.
Oh, that helps. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to get to that in a second. I do want to say hi to Val, one of our channel members in the chat. Welcome. Good to see you. And Solar Guy, I have not seen you here before, but welcome. We're talking about theme parks. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm glad you guys are here. Actually, I might give away some memberships to the channel because it's the end of the month, and I think I have 5 more I can give out for this month. So I might do that in a bit. So participate in the chat. Tell us what you think about the rides and what are the scariest rides you guys have been on. Let us know. Okay, so rides. Uh, so I'm going to be on your podcast soon.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk about the Secret Life of Pets ride.
Obviously, as everyone would have expected.
Exactly. So a lot of them you've already done. A lot of the big ones, and I haven't been to a lot of theme parks. I live, like you in Washington, and we don't have a lot here. I have been down to Hollywood Horror Nights and Universal Studios a couple times, but I do have video of going through the Secret Life of Pets, and I've done that one like 2 or 3 times. So I think I can pack in an hour's worth of information, hopefully.
I'm sure.
So I want to talk about the scariest ride. So, oh yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. So I just went to Scarywood in
Mhm.
it was October, yeah, October, which really cold but really fun. And I had planned on going on a lot of the roller coasters there. I didn't realize Scarywood's only 4 hours long. So if you're going there for the Scarywood event, maybe do the backwards roller coaster Timber Terror. But beyond that, if you want to get to all the mazes, you're probably not going to do a lot of roller coasters. So I'm planning on doing this next year, having a whole roller coaster day because I am really afraid of roller coasters. Are you? I mean, you're not, right? You're not afraid of anything, probably.
Actually, I am.
Really?
I'm not a big roller coaster person. Actually, I very much enjoy theme park rides, but when it comes to roller coasters, I'm not a kind of bigger is better person. Storm Runner, like I said, it really messed me up because I wasn't prepared for the launch, and so I missed the scream, and there was a lot of kind of corkscrews and loop loops and things like that, which is not my forte. I don't love going upside down. Really, the only ride I like that goes upside down is the Incredicoaster at Disneyland. So, yeah, I do love
Wow.
like I love an old school wooden roller coaster though, like the
I
one at the
love
Washington State
those.
Fair. I do
Uh,
love the Washington State Fair classic roller coaster.
I like Thunder Mountain at Disneyland.
Thunder Mountain is a classic.
And I mean, there are some I like. I like the Mummy ride. I actually like a lot of roller coasters. My problem is I'm afraid of heights, and I hate that flippity floppity feeling you get in your stomach. Um, but usually, once I've been on them a couple times, I have a really good time. Like Nemesis. So I have family in England, so I go there and visit them out, and we usually go to Alton Towers. So Nemesis is supposed to be really, really scary. And I remember I was so nervous waiting in line, and it does go upside down. It's one of those ones where you're suspended from your arms,
Hmm.
but it's a lot of fun. So even though I was really nervous like the first two times, now I love it. I actually want to go back because have you seen their Wicker Man roller coaster?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Dude, so they got that after the last time I had gone to Alton Towers. So I'm gonna go back soon for my cousin's wedding in like probably a couple years. I have to go on this. They built
Yeah.
like a whole Wicker Man. The whole thing's all wickerified. It's really, really cool. So I saw it because there's this show we have in Britain, but it's also on YouTube. And this guy's really afraid of roller coasters, so they have him kind of work his way up. But he goes on it, and it's got actual fire in it and such.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really fun, and it's wooden. I mean, it's all wooden. It's not wicker. It's a lie.
Seems like you shouldn't have fire around it then if it's all wooden.
I know, but it looks cool. Like flows out of the mouth. All you need is just Nicolas Cage crying about the bees, and you have
Yeah.
the
Not
perfect
the
movie.
bees.
Yes, I think. Gosh, so that's the thing, though. Like, I get excited about a lot of these, and I'm like, oh, that sounds super fun. Or I hate like being the person who has to wait, and then you feel like a big baby. So I've been trying to
Yeah.
work on it, and I've heard that there are tips. Maybe you have some tips. I heard that screaming helps. Like
Oh yeah.
relaxes your body.
Screaming is a big thing because otherwise, yeah, you're trying to catch your breath the whole time. But if you're screaming, then you're already exhaling, so you're letting it out, and that helps a lot. Yeah. I remember when I was a little kid riding. I might have been the very first time I rode the big roller coaster at the fair, and we went down the first big hill, and I was like, "Ooh!" And my dad sitting next to me just goes, "Taylor, scream!"
And another thing I would do is I would go with somebody and bury my head into their arm. And I've heard that that's actually worse because you're going to get more motion sickness because you don't know what direction you're going in. You got to
That's
keep
yeah,
your
that's
eyes
probably true.
open. And then, like you said, I watched a ton of like the videos for Silverwood, like if you
Mhm.
know where the track goes and such. But here's something that's kind of interested me about it. A lot of people have compared it to horror movies. So you remember when you were a kid and you watched something like Dawn of the Dead, how I told you about that, and it's so scary. And now I watch so many horror movies, I really kind of hope I get scared, but it's not likely. You know? I might get grossed
Yeah.
out or something, but I'm not usually that affected by the scares of it. Where when I was a kid, just looking at the VHS tape for The Exorcist, that alone, I didn't even have to see the movie. That terrified me. I was like, get it out of the house. So a lot of people who do roller coasters a lot say that we're lucky that we're still affected by them because after a while, a lot of people who do them all the time, they're like us with horror movies.
Yeah, I mean, both you do get kind of desensitized. Our slogan on the grave plot is "We're a little dead inside," and yeah, that comes from just kind of watching everything. And horror movies, especially, there's not a lot of kind of variation in the scares. So when you watch enough of them, and this, is for going to haunted houses and stuff too. It's like I know where the jumps are. I know exactly
Yeah.
when somebody's going to jump out. I know when a scare is going to happen. So yeah, for me, when it comes to horror movies, I prefer kind of like the psychological horror movies that you think like, what if that happened to me? That's really kind of messed up, as opposed to just something jumping out at you.
Yeah. But roller coasters, there are so many different kinds. So we talked about the wooden roller coasters. There's the ones where like they launch you. I've seen ones where they're like bungee things. They like you're in a chair and it's just by like a bungee cord and then they
Oh, the
throw you.
slingshots, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Never.
those are stupid.
No,
No,
never doing that. Never doing that. Okay,
I've
have
seen enough videos where one of them breaks and it just
really?
goes, yeah, and it just shoots off into the sky, and I'm just like, absolutely not. Nope, never touching that.
They have two different ones in Vegas that never. They're on my never ever list. One, it's kind of like a teeter totter that hangs off the tallest building they have there, and then it's supposed to just give you the feeling like you're gonna fall off. It's not even really going that fast, but that sounds awful. And then there's another one, again, one of the tallest buildings. It's like got, I think, 4 different seats, and it just hangs you over the edge and kind of spins around.
Ugh.
That sounds
Yeah, I don't know about
awful.
that.
So, oh, and here's an how do you feel about the ones that go up really, really high and then just drop?
Uh, I don't like them a lot, although like Tower of Terror and Guardians of the Galaxy at Disney are my favorite ride there.
Really?
Yeah,
What do they
absolutely.
do?
So they kind of you're in an elevator, and
That's the Tower of Terror, right?
yeah, um, yeah, it's in Guardians of the Galaxy. Technically, it's a gantry lift.
Ah,
Guardians of the Galaxy just used to be Tower of Terror, and they just changed
they
the
don't have
theme.
Tower of Terror anymore.
Not in Disneyland. They do in Disney World,
Oh, gotcha.
and also they have it in Disneyland Paris. But yeah, it basically just goes up and then drops you, and you kind of bounce a couple times. But I like Guardians of the Galaxy better because they have different scenes, and as you're watching the scene, you kind of like bob, and so you're never quite sure when you're going to go, and you're never quite sure if you're going to go up or down.
And it's
So it's like
fun.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'll have to check that out. Solar Guy AJ says the Mummy ride seems interesting. So that's the one at Universal Studios. I haven't been. Have you been to the one at Universal Florida?
I have not.
That one's supposed to be a lot bigger. Ours, I mean, I say ours. I don't even live in the state. The one in California is not that long, but I do really like it. One thing I like about Universal Studios is when you wait online, they have so many things to keep you entertained, like the Harry Potter rides. It looks like you're going through Hogwarts. So I really love that they do that. But the Mummy ride, so it goes pretty fast, but not super fast. I also found that you guys can look up the speed and the drops and everything about it and how long it takes for a roller
Mhm.
coaster online. I'm dedicated to getting over this roller coaster. I've been doing lots of research. But the Mummy one, it's really fun. It has like one little drop. It's not that big, but it's really dark. And then you get to the end and it goes backwards and it's super fun. I really wanted to have the bravery or gumption to go onto that Timber Terror backwards. It's at night and it's so big. And I was like, I don't think I can do it.
Now that only runs backwards during Scarywood, right?
That's what I've heard. I've heard sometimes during the rest of the year you might sporadically catch it running backwards, but it's just something
Okay.
that they usually just do for Scarywood. So next year, I want to go back. I want to be brave enough to do it. So I don't know. Would you do it? It's kind of, you know, an
I
interesting.
mean, the only ride I've done backwards is Expedition Everest at Disney World, which goes up a mountain and then it gets to a place where the track is all mangled and bent, and so then it goes back down the mountain
Uh-huh.
backwards. But so it's not like the whole ride is backwards.
Okay. So you haven't been on the Mummy one.
No, I have not. I haven't been to Universal. I went for once for Halloween Horror Nights, but the only ride I got to go on was Jurassic World.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of how it was with me with Disneyland. I've gone, but I went in like 2000. This is before they have the Star Wars stuff. It seems like it's a completely different park now. So, but I love
Yeah,
Universal.
it's Disney is always adding and changing. Um, it's so hard in California though because the land is so limited. In Florida, it's just a giant swamp, so they can always just get more land. But California, it's right in the middle of a major metropolis city.
Well, and they have the studio tour, so that the studio lot
Hmm.
takes up a lot of space, as opposed to their other park in Florida where they can just expand and expand because they don't have the studio tour. But I love the studio tour; super cool. Do you know what they're building now? That's gonna be out next year.
The Avatar land?
Nah, dude, the Fast and the Furious coaster.
Oh, at Universal, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I gotta go to Disney. I'm way behind on that, but I know about Universal stuff. So it's crazy. So you know how Universal, there's like the upper park, and then you go
Hmm.
down below, and then there's Nintendo Land and Jurassic World and all that stuff.
Hmm.
This roller coaster is gonna start up above, go down the mountain, and come back up.
And you drift.
Well, yeah, because I guess the cars can. You're in a car that whatever the car that the guy in the movie Vin Diesel drives. You're in a car and it will freely spin around.
Yeah, like as you go around corners, it kind of turns sideways.
Yeah. So that seems kind of crazy because it's gonna go fast. It's gonna go upside down, and then this
Hmm.
car it kind of makes me think of like how the zippers they just kind of just do their thing.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. Like, I mean, like I said earlier, I don't do upside down real well, so I don't know if I'll go on it. But I love the drifting cars idea.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Danny says Tokyo Drift. Hey, do you know the Fun Forest at the Seattle Center?
I remember it. I don't remember going on it, but I remember it existing.
I think I've seen it there. I haven't gone on that, but that's what Adam says scared him as a kid. Danny
Yeah,
is
it
not
was.
afraid of any rides, so he's just all like, I make the goofy falling yell. The he does. He's not afraid of anything. It's really, really obnoxious.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be.
It's really obnoxious, but there are some rides, especially when they're different. I don't know about you, but then I really want to go on them. Like they, as in Danny and my father-in-law, went on Stunt Pilot, which the line was crazy long, but it's supposed to be a really, really smooth roller coaster. What
This
freaks
is at Silverwood.
Yeah, Silverwood.
Okay.
What freaks me out about this is you're in your own individual car. So there is no emotional support from
Mm,
your buddy. Like you can't grab onto your buddy's arm or whatever. Like you are on your own. And you're in the car and it goes and then it drops down and it goes through big loop de loops and it's supposed to be really, really smooth, like kind of like you're flying in your own little plane. In theory, it sounds really nice and everyone gives it super high ratings for just being so smooth. But just being by yourself on this tiny little rail, the rail looks itty bitty.
yeah, some of them are.
That's insane. I also watch this disaster channel, which I shouldn't do,
Yeah,
which
probably.
tells you about all the rides. But you know what's crazy? Do you watch shows like that?
No, but I've listened to podcasts like that.
Here's the craziest thing is I would assume, based on the fact that they scare me, that roller coasters would have the most accidents. It's the freaking water rides.
Yeah,
Like they're so dangerous. Water slides, any water raft rides, even at Universal, most of their accidents were right when they started the Jurassic Park ride, back when it was Jurassic Park.
are you familiar with Action Park?
Yes! There are so
There, yeah, Action Park was basically run by teenagers, and it there was just so much chaos and destruction and death. And how that park stayed open for so long, I'll have no idea. It's still open. It's run by different people, but it's still open.
yeah, it's and a lot of the rides they've given to other people. I've seen some of the stuff there. Like a lot of their water rides, especially, were just insane. Like going off on a rope or something. But they had so many injuries, and they made a movie about it too. I think it's called Action Point with Johnny Knoxville in it.
Yeah. There's also a really good documentary about it called Class Action Park.
Yeah, they've had some crazy stuff. But in general, how safe would you say most theme parks are?
I would say most of them are pretty safe just because they go through so much rigmarole to get them up to snuff before they let anybody on it. And if anything goes wrong, they shut it down pretty much right away. I've been on plenty of rides that have broken down. I've never gotten to walk off. That's kind of the theme park nerds dream,
Really?
is to be able to be able to walk off a ride and like go through the backstage area and see
That's
all the gears and how
cool.
everything works. That has not happened to me. Um, I will say I was at Disneyland Paris last year, and we were on this ride called Crush's Coaster, and in it you sit two by two but back to back, and the car kind of spins like we were saying with Fast and the Furious. And we got to a point where we got right to the top of a hill and it just stopped. And so we're looking straight down this
How
hill, and
high?
I mean, it was a decent amount. It wasn't like crazy high. It is an indoor coaster, so it's hard to tell. But I was like, I think we're gonna go back that way. Like I think we're just gonna stop and then go back down. And then we sat there for probably like 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, yeah, we're not going back down. This ride's just broken.
Oh no! How'd you get down?
Eventually, it finally started up again, and we ended up going the way we were going. But yeah, we sat at the literally at the top of this hill for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 minutes.
I've had that happen to me one time. So my favorite ride, probably just ever. I love the Harry Potter. I think it's the Forbidden Journey one. It's the
Mhm.
dark ride, not the one they have at in Florida or the Hippogriff one. You know which
I'll
one I'm
tell you
talking
what.
about.
Spoiler alert for your viewers. My next episode is on the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
I love that ride so much. So if you guys have not been on it, it is it's really safe. You're not that high, but you feel like you are because you're on this like bench. You just have to get on there, which by the way, I have a friend who's a little person. That ride is not good for people who have short legs. So we're
Oh
trying to get
man.
on it, but you know how it's moving? So we grab him by his arm so he can get up in the chair, and it just hits him right in the balls because it's got like that lump in the middle. I was like, oh my gosh, dude. But you have to just kind of run up and get on it. Anyway, aside from my friend getting injured, it's really fun because you've got these big screens and the chairs move in all different directions. So it does feel like you are on a broomstick. And the illusions they create with all the cinema of it, the big screen. Yeah, you get the feeling of being on a roller coaster without the actual being super high or going super fast.
Yeah, on this episode that's going to be coming out this coming Wednesday, we go into the mechanics of it a little bit, but it's interesting because it's like I think 6 different kind of rooms, and the machine you're in just kind of goes in and out from room to room. It's really interesting.
Oh
I
wow.
can't think of another ride that's anything like that.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And that one I like too, because especially if you go towards the end of the summer, a lot of times on that one, they'd be like, you guys just want to go again? Because they just continually run it. And we're like, yeah. So I've gone on that one like 4 times in a row once. So I'm telling my son is the biggest, he's so afraid of rides. He really cannot he doesn't really like rides, period. He doesn't get any enjoyment out of them. But I'm telling him, like, this is my favorite ride. It's really not scary. You got to experience it. It's going to be fun. Nothing will happen. Yeah, it breaks down. So that's what Danny is talking about. And you know it's the part with the Whomping Willow. So you have this
I've never been on it. I don't.
oh my gosh, you're missing out.
Yeah.
So they have this big Whomping Willow, and that's what makes this ride so cool because it's a combination of the dark ride where you have the movie screen, but you also have animatronics. I'm sure you talked about this all on your podcast.
Mhm.
You have the animatronics, like there's spiders and the Whomping Willow and everything. So it's the Whomping Willow, it's smacking around, and then your chair goes back, and you're not upside down, but you are leaning back really far, and that's when it stops. So we're not quite
Oh
upside
no.
down, but our heads are tilted, like our feet are above us.
Oh.
So it's like an extreme recliner, and he's getting really scared. And he's like, well, we can't get down from here. I'm like, it's going to be fine. It's not a big deal. These things happen all the time. But we were there for like 5 minutes, and we didn't get a walk off. They started, the ride just started up again. But I feel so bad because I just swore up and down over and over again. It's perfectly safe. And then we get stuck. So.
Yeah, I mean they say that nobody's ever died on Disney property, but apparently that's kind of a misnomer. That the rumor is that they won't declare them until they get at them off property. So
Yeah. I mean,
that's
people
a little
have
urban
died
legend.
though. They had that it was like a show way back in the day, and someone got caught in between. There was like these moving chairs, and someone died in that.
Ooh,
So
someone just recently died on Haunted Mansion.
really, how?
Yeah, I think it was just like an elderly person, and I don't know if they had some kind of cardiac arrest or whatever, just in the middle of the ride. But yeah, I guess by the time the doom buggy got back to the station, there was just a dead body in it.
Oh wow, that's intense. I also hear that people like to drop ashes off at Disneyland a lot, so they have people just, especially near the haunted mansion.
Yeah, so that is known as a code gray.
Oh, great! I love this.
There's a rumor, I don't know if it's true, but there's a rumor that it used to be called a code grandma.
Wow, I've heard so many people do it that the likelihood of you breathing in other humans is pretty high.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like that might just be an urban legend, but I know it's a popular idea.
I know my friend did it, but she cut a hole
Really?
in the inside of her pants pocket and did it down her leg. And she also did it at a water slide. So her mom was cremated, and she had her in this giant rooster, she would call her giant cock of her mom. And she would take little baggies of it to all these places that her mom had never been but wanted to go. So she like put some of her mom down a water slide. I was not here for this stuff, but she told me the whole story. I helped with one of them, but it wasn't the water slide one. But there's a lot of them. Her mom is like everywhere, dude. Everywhere.
I mean, that's what you want to be, right? Everybody wants to be everywhere at once, so
She
she
is
gets to.
she is everywhere at once. So you're not a big roller coaster fan, but what are your favorite kinds of rides?
So I do like thrill rides. Like I said, my favorite ride is the Tower of Terror slash Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, so I really like kind of those big drop rides. I enjoy a good dark ride. I love Haunted Mansion, mostly just because the aesthetic of it. Uh, I like kind of, I don't want to call them kiddie roller coasters, but maybe like smaller roller coasters. Like Big Thunder Mountain
Like
is
family coasters.
so good.
I love
Yeah,
Thunder Mountain. That one's so fun.
yeah, and I think that's the reason why I'm such a big fan of Disney is that while all these other parks, these Six Flags and Cedar Points and stuff, were trying to constantly build the biggest and the fastest and the most extreme, and Disneyland was like, what if we just made them really good and had a really strong theme and just made them fun. And I think that's kind of where my interests lie more than which one has the most inversions and the most corkscrews or has the fastest launch.
Yeah,
That
I
ki-
when I went to Disneyland, this was like I said about 2000. I went on all the roller coasters in the park, like Space Mountain, but then we went to California Adventures, and I don't know what it's called, but you know the one that has the big Mickey Mouse on it?
yeah,
I didn't want to go on that one because it looked way too intense. And then my boyfriend at the time did, and he was like, "You're so lucky you didn't go on that," because he said it just like launches you so fast that he felt like he couldn't even breathe. Have you been
yeah,
on that
that
one?
was yeah, that's the Incredicoaster now. Back then it was probably still California Screaming. Um, yeah, that one, like, I don't think the launch on that one is that bad compared to some others. It does launch you, but it also counts you in. It says, like 3, 2, 1, let's go. And so you kind of know when the launch is coming. But also, like I was saying, it launches you and you kind of go up a hill. And so you get a chance to catch your breath when you go up the hill. I love that ride. I think it's a great ride.
Yeah,
It only has one inversion. It has one loop the
you
loop.
need to go to Disneyland again. When you go to Universal again Studios in California, you do need to go on the Hippogriff roller coaster. It's really short, but it is one of the just wooden family coasters. Makes me feel like I'm really tough because I can go on it like over and over again. But I love Universal because I can go on any ride there, so I don't feel like I am missing out. At least
Yeah.
currently, they don't have the Fast and the Furious one yet. So, are there any that you just won't go on that you've just been like held to the gnaw?
Uh, I mean, yeah, like when I went to Hershey Park, there was definitely a couple there that had like tons of corkscrews and stuff. And people, the people I was with were like, "Do you want to go on this?" And I'm like, I think I'll pass on that one. Like, there's a Jolly Rancher ride that I kind of had to pass on. Um, but I don't know if there's any like off the top of my head that I'm just like absolutely never, other than Goofy's Sky School.
What's that?
So it is a roller coaster at California Adventure. It's a more of a kiddie roller coaster. It doesn't have a lot of hills. It's what's called a wild mouse coaster, which is where the name of my podcast comes from. But it's mostly like a lot of flat, just kind of like hard turns and then like little dips and stuff. But the reason I will never go on it again is because the seats are kind of contoured in the middle. And since the ride is made for shorter people, when you're taller like me, you don't really fit in the seat. And so when you have this little contour right in between your legs and you're a man,
The Harry
and you
Potter ride does have that, as
okay.
I told you. So you be ready for that. It has that. Not
Yeah,
great for
that
very
one.
short people. I don't know how it is for very tall people. My brother's like 6'3" and he liked it.
Okay. Yeah, Goofy. I mean, Goofy Sky School is I love Wild Mouse coasters, but just the way the seat is shaped, I limped off the ride.
Ow! So can you explain what a wild mouse coaster is and why you picked that for the name of your podcast?
So a Wild Mouse coaster basically is, like I said, it's mostly flat. So it's like you'll go up a big lift hill, and then it just kind of twists and turns at a gradual decline. Um, it's not a lot of big giant hills. It's mostly just a lot of hard turns, but it's the way that the car is on the track. When you get to these turns, you feel like you're just going to tip right over and fall off the whole coaster. And that's kind of where the excitement of it comes from. I came up with that name mostly. I had a different name actually, but I found out it was already taken, so I had to change it real quick. but I came up with that name because I think it sounds cool for one. It is a fun type of roller coaster that's not something super extreme. And also, most of my episodes are about Disney, so having mouse in there kind of fit.
Yeah. So you have guests on all of your episodes, but do you ever just talk about rides that are important to you?
I mean, yes, usually, well, not usually, always with a guest, but it's sometimes it's I'll be talking about a ride I've never been on, but sometimes it will be a ride that I really enjoy. What was really cool was earlier this year, I took my brother to Disneyland for the first time for his 21st birthday. And then we did an episode right after that. So I got to kind of talk to him about all his first experiences that I also got to share with him. So that was really, really cool.
That's really cool. So what are you gonna do when I talk to you about Secret Life of Pets?
I mean, I'll do my research. I'll talk about the history of it when it was conceived and built and all that. But
Are
as
you
far as
excited?
like I am, yeah. Uh, as far as talking about the ride itself, I think that's going to be a lot of you kind of telling me your personal experiences.
Oh,
Like I said,
brilliant.
I'll watch like a ride through of it so I know what the ride is like, but you'll kind of have to explain to me the thrills and chills of it.
It doesn't have a lot of thrills and chills, but it does have really cool animatronics, and there's so many things going on in each different scene, which makes it neat because it's like you're going through this like little town, and so they have parts of it where there's animatronics up on top of that building, and then they're over here. There's like so much going on. And then I think the part that's really fun that gives it repeat ride value, because once you've seen the animatronics, you've seen the animatronics. And if you've been
Mhm.
on something like Roger Rabbit's ride at Disneyland, that's about the how the ride itself is. It's not anything particularly thrilling. It kind of moves around and stuff. But here's the reason why you go on it over and over again is you get to the end and you and the person next to you, it turns you into dogs and it's random what kind of dog you'll be. So you'll want to go on again to get it to be a different dog. I remember one time I was a dog that looked exactly like my mom's dog, so I recorded the whole thing. And they tell you that okay, it's time for you to get adopted. So they go through this whole process of shampooing you and blowing you out. And
What?
if you move your hands and stuff, your dog does stuff too. Your dog will move around. If you open your mouth, your dog opens its mouth. So
So
it's
is this like in Haunted Mansion when it shows like you look in the mirror and you have the hitchhiking ghost sitting next to you? Is it that kind of thing? Just like a
yeah,
projection onto your face?
but it's like a big part of the ride. Like it goes on for a while because you go through these different
Okay.
sections, and then they also like when they're blow drying you, they're blowing you with air, so you're getting blow dried.
Hmm.
And then I guess the part I really like about it is at the end you get adopted. Everybody gets adopted. But I think it's cool that even though it's a kid ride, that it's very inclusive. Like there's families of different colors, there's same sex couples, there's ones that already have children. So like it's very diverse in the families that adopt you, and they pretend to be super excited about you, even though I don't think I was a very good dog. So, but
Even though you're clearly a person.
I was a person, and I didn't go home with them. I bailed. But
I mean, I've heard very good things about it. I've heard, I mean, even people who are like, coaster fiends, I've heard them be like, that's actually a really cool ride.
and it's one of those ones too when you're walking through it, because I mean I go late summer, like September, I think is ideal when there's no lines really. So I just walk through all the stuff where you're like, oh, they built this. Like, if you're stuck in line for a long time, you're not bored. But they have little rooms that you stop in, and you'll see like the kitchen, and there's the docks, and in the mixer bowl, and there's things to look at on your way through there. So yeah, it's really well done. It's really cool.
Nice. Yeah. Disneyland has done a very good job recently of kind of making their queues more interesting. So it's not just standing in a line, you're actually looking at things and sometimes interacting with things. But they've also done this thing now where it's like you think you're getting on the ride and then surprise, it's just more line.
How do they do that?
So like one of their newest rides is called Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway,
Hmm.
and you go through this whole theater, and that's the whole queue, and then you get into the actual like theater room, and you watch this little cartoon, and the wall explodes at one point, and there's a big hole in the wall, and you go through the hole in the wall, and then there's more line.
Oh, dude. Kind of made me think of like the Back to the Future ride back in the day. But once you watch that movie, then you go on the ride. So But yeah, I need to go back to Disneyland. What do you think are the best rides at Disneyland?
I mean, I am a big fan of the Incredicoaster, even though it does go upside down. Uh, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is, the old Tower of Terror. I love that one. I'm a big fan of the Haunted Mansion, just because it's classic and I love the aesthetic of it. I love the Hatbox Ghosts. I love the hitchhiking ghosts. Big Thunder Mountain is awesome. Rise of the Resistance, the newest Star Wars ride, is the scale of it is so incredibly epic that it's just, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, it's just like there's part of it where you're just like, I can't believe they pulled this off.
That's awesome.
Smuggler's Run, the other Star Wars ride, is really cool. It's kind of like a giant video game. It's very interactive. Gosh, what else? Pirates of the Caribbean is a classic.
That's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're putting in an Avatar ride, which I'm really not.
I haven't even seen the Avatar movies, but are you excited for this?
No.
No.
I think I'd like to. I mean, maybe it'll be great, but I'm just not. I'm not an Avatar fan, so I don't really know how to feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although, from what I hear, it uses the same mechanics as the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Hong Kong, which is completely different from the Pirates of the Caribbean rides here in the States. It has like big giant screens, and at one point you go underwater.
What?
And like that, you don't actually go underwater, but it gives you the illusion of going underwater. And yes, it's just a much different experience. And so apparently this uses kind of the same track and the same mechanisms as that. So I'm curious to see it, but the fact that it's Avatar does nothing for me.
Yeah, they have the Universal tour at the studio. Have you been on that?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little kid.
So much, because I remember when I first went on it, it had like a giant animatronic for King Kong. Now it's screens on both sides, so it looks like you're outdoors, and then King Kong wrestles this giant dinosaur, and then the whole thing shakes and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember King Kong like actually grabbing the tram.
Yeah, so that's gone because it got destroyed in a fire. There was a really bad fire a while back, so they had to completely redo that. And then there's this really lame part at the end where it's Fast and the Furious, and the actors, like, they got them for it, but they give 0 fucks. They're just like,
that's what I've heard.
They are phoning it in. So it's just, you can tell they don't want to be doing it. They do the same thing with Jurassic World, where they have some people from that movie, and they do seem to just be doing their jobs, and they're fine. But the Fast and the Furious one, they don't want to be there.
It's a one-day shoot.
They probably had to do it for their contract or something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I'll tell you what I am excited for is they're opening a Villains Land in Disney World.
Villains Land. So that would be like Ursula, Jafar.
Yeah. Yeah, there's supposed to be from what I've heard, there's a Ursula water ride going in, and then there's going to be a Maleficent coaster, and Maleficent will also have her own castle. I think there's going to be some stuff with Jafar and maybe like the evil witch from Cinderella. Yeah, I'm not sure what all it's going to be, because they've
part of the park.
Yeah, and there's Epic Universe that just recently opened in Universal Studios Florida. Well, it's actually its own separate park, but they have a whole Universal Monsters area.
Wow,
which is it's supposed to be great. I haven't been there, but there's a Wolfman roller coaster that's supposed to be really good. It's called Wolfman Unchained.
Where's this?
And then there's a
Epic Universe, you said?
Yeah, Epic Universe in Orlando.
Okay.
It's Epic Universe. It looks really cool. It's 4 different areas. There's a Universal Monsters area. There's a new Harry Potter area. There's a How to Train Your Dragon area. Okay. And then there's like a Celestial area, which is like a new IP, but they have a ride called Celestial Racers, I think it is, and it's like 2 tracks going at the same time, side by side, and it's supposed to be amazing.
That sounds really cool. Have you been? Well, you haven't been to Universal. They have Nintendo Land now. That's the one thing that is, no matter what time of year you go, it's super packed. But I will say the ride they have there, the Bowser thing where you're supposed to play the video game, like it's so not worth waiting in line for.
That's what I've heard. I've heard it's not very good.
Yeah, it's not very good. So,
which is disappointing, because like if you have a Mario Kart ride, that just seems so perfect. And how do you mess that up?
It's because they put this this visor on you, right? And it's not really immersive. It looks like there's just lights that come on the visor. So it's really hard. You can't really see what's going on around you because you have the stupid visor on. And then you're supposed to play the game, but it's like you're doing it on a really bad screen. And I couldn't quite figure
Mm.
out how to play the Mario Kart of it. I think it would be more fun to just be able to like steer or something simple and or have it give you the impression of being hit with a blue shell or something or something like that
Yeah,
would be more fun.
they should have just basically taken Radiator Springs Racers from Disneyland, made that into a Mario Kart ride. And yeah, like you said, you could have parts where, like you hear the noise when a shell is thrown or something, and all of a sudden your car just does a quick spin.
Yeah, like a dark ride. Then you could get inked at one point. Like that kind of stuff would be really fun.
Sure, yeah.
And
Or like
they
have
could
a banana peel in the road, and you hit that, and your
and then
car
you
spins.
spin. Yeah, that could be really fun. It's not like that at all. Like you have to work with and I spent half of it trying to figure out what am I supposed to be doing because I didn't really understand how to play it and my son couldn't either. So it was just a lot of waiting for not a lot of anything. But it's cool to go up to Bowser's castle and walk around and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've heard the queue is actually the coolest part.
Yeah, that part's the best. Like going on top of the castle is really fun. So
They there was a point where they felt like they needed to gamify all the rides, and I don't know why that was a thing because Disneyland has the Spider-Man Web Slingers ride
uh-huh.
where it's like you're going basically kind of from room to room, and these doors open and there's a big screen, and you're supposed to do the Spider-Man, motion, the thwip, to shoot these little robots. But so you're just sitting there, like going like this, and it just makes your forearms burn like crazy.
Yeah, you gotta buy these like little watches where you keep track of your points and you do all these like little just really kid type rides. They're not even rides. They're like mazes or you know kind of more like carnival rides. And you can get a
Hmm.
lot of points. And when you get enough points, you can go into Bowser's castle and kind of explore that. And that's separate from the Mario Kart ride. But yeah, it seems like just something to make you spend more money on it.
Basically, yeah. I mean, the Spider-Man one, they have like different attachments you can buy that give you better boosters or whatever, and it's all just ploys to get your money.
And aren't they doing something now where you have to pay more money? Like it's not a fast pass, it's something else when you're in line.
So, this could be a whole episode of Wild Mouse right here.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Hey Patrick.
yeah, it's called Lightning Lanes,
Okay,
and
so what is that?
basically you purchase the Lightning Lane pass, and then on your phone it tells you, at this time you can book one of these rides, and so you book it, and then it's like, okay, you can book another one either after you ride this or in another 2 hours or whatever it is. And so it's like you can only book one at a time, and you have to kind of wait to get the next one. Whereas the old, fast pass system, the paper fast pass machines, you could just go and get one, get on the ride, go to the next one. And so a lot of people don't like it. And plus the fast pass was also free. But you're kind of paying for the convenience of having it on your phone. I'm not a lightning lane hater. I don't mind it. I I won't go to Disneyland without it. I'll say that
So you're kind
because
of
it's
do you still have to wait in line?
yes, but you wait in a shorter line.
So it's a little different than the fast pass because you book it.
Yeah, you book it on your phone, and then you go and you scan a QR or a barcode, and you go into the lightning lane line, which only people who have lightning lanes can get in, and so therefore it's shorter.
So when I went with my boyfriend at the time who was one of 13. So they needed someone during the day.
Jesus.
Yeah. And he's one of the older ones. So they invited us and they paid for us and everything so long as we'd watch the little kids so that the older, they and their older children could go on stuff. So all day long, and if you're someone who stayed with children, so somebody else could go on a ride, you got a fast pass. So we collected these all day. And then in the evening when they left, we were just like, heck yeah, dude. Pretty much just went on Thunder Mountain over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, one of the nice things is if the ride breaks down while you have a fast pass, they'll give you another fast pass for any ride.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's like sometimes you almost wish the ride would break down. Um, we went last, I think it was last Halloween, and we went with Tony and his wife, and we were literally like on the porch of the haunted mansion, and it broke down. So we were like the next people to get in, and they were like, "Sorry guys, ride's broken down. We're not going to honor your fast pass. You just got to go." And we're like, "Well, if you're not going to honor the fast pass, we're just going to stay here." And so we waited them out, and eventually they were finally just like, "Okay, fine, we'll give you a new fast pass. Just go."
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. So let's talk about haunts. Do you talk about a lot of haunts on your podcast, or is it mostly just the rides?
I haven't done any haunts yet. I mean, for October I talked about Not Scary Farm,
That's
and
the
then I also talked
stupidest
about,
name ever.
oh come on, that's a great
It's
pun.
awful because it just sounds like it's not scary. And so if you want to go for a haunted experience, why am I going to go to the one that's not scary? I'm like, well, it doesn't look scary because it's got freaking peanuts. Charlie
That's true.
Brown.
You have to make sure you say not scary. You gotta put the little space in there.
But it just sounds like it's not scary. It's like, well, go to Scarywood because that is scary. It's in the name.
And that's actually not the official name. It's called like it's just like Haunted Halloween or something like
Yeah.
that. But Not Scary Farm was just like the people who went there started calling it. It's Knott's Berry Farm normally, and so people just started calling it Not Scary Farm, and it kind of took off. And it's more the unofficial name. It's still not the official name, but the marketing and stuff all uses that now. And then for Christmas they have Knott's Merry Farm.
See, that makes, I guess, a little more sense.
You can hear the S more in that one
I
in
think
Knott's.
so. Yeah, because the S goes into the scary part, so it's just not Scary Farm
Yeah,
with
but then I
Charlie
also
Brown.
talked about Queen Mary's Dark Harbor, which is kind of basically a giant haunt at
What's that?
on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. The Queen Mary, the giant ship.
I've, I mean, I've heard of it because of like Parent Trap and stuff.
Yeah, and Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they have a big haunted event every year where they have haunted mazes. Some of them are actually on the ship, which is said to be extremely haunted. In like, if you actually believe in that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it's honestly it's a ton of fun. Me and Tony went, and we went right before COVID, and they didn't come back after COVID at first. So for a while, Tony and I thought we went to the very last one, but it's back now, and I recommend it. I think it's a ton of fun.
So is it like a
Um,
typical haunt, or is it more just like a ghost adventure type thing?
no, it's kind of like a typical haunt. They have different mazes, um, and there's like hidden bars in each maze that you have to either like find, or sometimes you have to get like a little token that will let you in. Um, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So which haunts have you been to?
So I've been to Nightmare at the Nile, and I've been to Nightmare at Beaver Lake.
That's ones we have here in Washington, right?
Yeah, yeah. Nightmare at the Nile is run by the Shriners, and then I think Beaver Lake might be gone now, but Rob Bookta, who I'm sure you know, he was a big part of that.
Yeah, they always had like a booth for that with like a cool photo op at Crypticon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're still running or not, but
And you've been to Hollywood Horror Nights.
I have been to Hollywood Horror Nights. Yes,
Have you
that
been to
was a
anything
couple
that
years ago.
compares to Hollywood Horror Nights, like quality wise? Because to me, that's like that's the bar.
Well, yeah, I mean that's Universal Studios budget, so
Yeah,
yeah. I would say that Dark Harbor probably comes close.
yeah.
That's probably the second highest quality one that I've been to. Um, I haven't been to Not Scary Farm. Uh,
Sorry, it's just still funny.
but yeah, I mean, Universal's always going to be the top just because it does have that huge budget. Although when I went, I didn't get to go into a lot of the mazes just because the lines were insanely
Yeah,
long.
so I've done it twice now, and the first time we did it for our anniversary, it's our 10-year anniversary. So we got the RIP pass, and I'm telling you guys, just pay the extra money and do it. It's just worth it. They take you in a tram car to every single maze. You go to the front of the line, and I feel like the scare actors like just try harder. They're just I don't know. I've been both times, and they really ham it up for the RIP guests. And before you even go, you get to go to this RIP room, and there's stops to get drinks and stuff. You go on every single maze. You go to the show because they have a big show, and you get within the first few rows of the show, so you get really good seats for that. Um, and then the tour guide also knows a ton of stuff. about everything, and they stop also so you can take pictures in front of like the Psycho House. That's the way to go. Because the last time I did it, we took my son. We wanted to go to Nintendo Land mostly for his graduation, and then we thought, well, since we're there, one of the nights we'll just do Hollywood Horror Nights, but we'll just not do anything special. We're just gonna wait in lines. It won't be a big deal. It was a huge deal. Like I remember the Last of Us line. I felt like we were there for like 2 hours, and I used to be able to do lines. We were in the Evil Dead Rise one, and I had to like sit on the ground because I just couldn't. My legs were just giving out. It's so long.
Yeah, I mean that's why I said I won't go to Disneyland without a lightning lane anymore. So it's the same kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I think anytime you go to a theme park, the yes, obviously it's just them trying to get more money out of you, but I think that whatever they call their fast pass version is worth it.
Yeah, I think for if I ever do that again, I'm going to do the RIP or at the very least the Express Pass because you don't want to spend your whole night just standing in line. I think if you're young, you live in California, you got a group of buddies, and you guys are all hanging out and playing games and stuff, it's probably okay. But I am not young, and I'm not doing that again. It was hard. Val says she's been to Six Flags about 40 minutes from her. How do you feel about Six Flags?
I think Six Flags is great for what it is, which is one of those kind of parks where they want to be the biggest and the fastest and the most extreme.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of really cool roller coasters. The one in New Jersey just tore down the largest roller coaster in the world, which is kind of crazy. And I don't really know why. I know sometimes because basically what it does is it launches you and then you go up and over and down and that's it. That's the whole ride. But there were many times where it wouldn't make it.
Yeah, some of
So
those extreme ones
it would
really
launch you and you'd go up
out.
and then back down. And then they'd be like, okay, hold on, we're going to send you again.
No, no. What about like have you heard of the standing coasters where you're standing up?
Yeah, it seems like a terrible idea.
It does. I don't think I would feel very safe like that.
Or like the Superman one where you're like lying down and you're actually like laying belly down and doing the Superman pose.
I've heard that one's really bad. Have you been on it?
No, that sounds like I feel like I'd freak out
I don't want
having to
my
lay like that.
belly revealed to things that are flying by at super fast speeds.
And having to like hold your head up like that.
Oh no, that sounds awful. Oh,
Yeah.
here's something I actually want to talk to you about since we're back onto roller coasters. We keep flipping around to roller coasters because in the show, you know what? We go at whatever. We just talk about whatever we feel like talking about. But we're going back to roller coasters. I want to talk to you about Final Destination 3 because I feel like when people think about roller
Okay.
coasters, if you're afraid of roller coasters, that's what pops in your head. It's like when you're on a road trip and you see a log truck, you think of Final Destination 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about how realistic Final Destination 3 is.
Um I mean, I don't want to say it's impossible, but I don't think it's plausible.
I mean, I think for starters, they're not going to let you have, most of the time, they have lockers where you have to lock stuff up. So I don't think that
Hmm.
guy would have the camera just out there, especially not when he's waiting. Like he like hides it or whatever. But I don't think they would let him take it on. I think someone would have caught him with it. But even then, there's so many fail safes. There's the brakes. There's the things that stop him from rolling back. There's a lot of things that would have to go wrong in order for all that to happen. So I think it's highly unlikely. I remember I watched a video where they broke down every single one, and it was a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it's like I said, I don't want to say it's impossible, but I don't think it's plausible. Like you said, there's so many fail safes. A lot of roller coasters won't even let you wear like meta glasses
Mhm.
just because they don't want any kind of filming. So being able to actually like get a full camera on a roller coaster seems like a tall task. I I don't think it's something you need to worry about.
I don't think so. I watch, like I said, I watch a lot of the disaster rides, and again, as far as the last 10 years, it's water rides. You are in more danger, I think, going down a water slide than you are going on a roller coaster because we haven't really had any serious accidents on roller coasters. And I've looked, guys, because I'm really afraid of roller coasters. Back, in the early 1900s, when you had the wooden ones, that's when you'd have a lot of deaths and such. Or I think even in the 80s they might have had some, but everything's so computerized now, and it has to be cleared by different people. So even if one person screwed up, the ride isn't going to start unless everybody does their job. So it's really hard for something like that to happen these days.
Yeah, and usually if there is any kind of incident on a roller coaster, it's because somebody was doing something they shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
Either they didn't lock the bar down tight, or they didn't have their seatbelt on, or somebody was in a place where they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
of
it's
one guy in the last 10 years who got decapitated. See, I told you we talked about decapitations on the show. I was waiting for that to show up. The one guy who got beheaded, and it's because he had dropped his, I want to say his phone. He dropped, no, it's his hat. It was a hat. It was so dumb. He dropped his hat on the roller coaster, and so he went over the fence to go get it, and then the roller coaster came
no.
down and ripped his head off. But that's not any fault of theirs. So also those like yo-yo rides, those seem to have a lot of accidents. It's weird. The ones that have so many accidents are the ones I don't think you would think of. Like someone has died at Universal Studios. The only person who's died at Universal Studios, it was during Hollywood Horror Nights, and that's why there was a gap where they didn't have it for a few years because a scare actor went in between the tram cars and they got run over.
Yes, I heard about that.
But it's not what you would think.
Um,
It's not like a big scary ride. It's just something simple.
yeah, someone did die on that Celestial Racers roller coaster that I was talking about earlier.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't want to speculate on what happened, but the kind of argument is that he didn't put his bar all the way down, and so he kind of slid out.
That
I don't
scares
want
me
to like,
so bad that that could happen because I'm always worried that they didn't check it enough or that it's not on all the way.
yeah, I'm always like more cautious than not. I'll click it, I'll suck it in and give it that one extra click,
Yeah,
and
me
I'll deal
too.
with that for the next minute and a half rather than worrying about if I'm going to slide out.
Okay, so comparing that to carnival rides. So you have carnivals, I'm sure. Like I know you do up in Puyallup and stuff, like near the Seattle
Mhm.
area. We get them in Wenatchee and such too. And so, being that we're so far away from Seattle, we have the Apple Blossom Festival, and that needs to be like the one ride thing you would get. But now that I'm older and I know how many accidents happen with carnival rides, I don't think I could do it again. Like the last time I ever went on the Zipper was the year where a cart just fell off of it.
Jesus.
It just fell. Nobody was in it. They were testing it. They were running it, but one of the carts fell off, and I was like, "Heck no, not doing that."
Yeah, I mean, carnivals are their rides are made to be put on a truck in a day and onto the next town tomorrow. So they're not there all the time. They're not built into the ground. The people who are running them are not highly trained professionals. They might be trained, but they're not highly trained. They probably don't, it's probably like, hey, you're doing corn dogs today and the Ferris wheel tomorrow. Like,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
scary.
carnival rides are sketchy. There's a reason that carnies have the reputation that they
The
do.
thing that I think scares me the most is, and I'm sure there's logic behind it, but when you go on those, the Sea Dragons or pirate ship rides,
Hmm.
they usually have like a bar for everybody. And my dad would make me go on those when I was a kid. There's no seatbelts. And
No.
I know Danny's mom did the same thing to him. My dad would like kind of lift you up, and it's like there's nothing holding you down because like I'm a little kid, so there's like a foot between me and that bar, and I would think that I was just gonna fly right out of it, but I've never heard of that happening. So I'm assuming the way it's moving, the gravity wouldn't allow that to happen.
Yeah, there's a ride at Hershey Park called the Twizzlers Twisted Gravity, and it's one of those big giant swings. But the bar, it goes up one side and then across, but it doesn't come back down the other side. And so you're just like looking at it going, what if I just fall out the side?
Yeah, what would happen?
It would not be good. I'll tell you that.
And I'm really nervous about any rides that involve water. I mean, granted, a lot of the things I've heard, there's very few where someone actually got electrocuted. A lot of times
Mhm.
it's someone fell out and then there's the mechanisms underneath and something happens that way, especially with small children. But we have this ride at Alton Towers in the UK, right? So Alton Towers, I mean, it's kind of Six Flags where they have a lot of extreme rides. Like I'm sure you're familiar with it. Anyway, so there's this one ride you go on, and it's crazy. You're in like it's like almost kind of like bleachers. It's like six rows of people, but they're pretty far apart. Like it goes wide too.
Okay.
So like if you're sitting in a movie theater or something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but they put it on
Okay.
this big thing and it goes up and then it's spinning around and you're with
Mm.
all these people, which to me just seems way too heavy. But my uncle made me go on it and I really, really hated it. And then it goes through water that's like spurting up. But it's like,
I don't like this.
I don't like it either. I kept telling him, I was like, I don't understand how it works because it's going around and then there's also water underneath you. And I'm just like, how electronical things, and it's an electronical thing, and water don't mix, right?
I'm more concerned about the flipping, but
Yeah, there's a lot of flipping, a lot. And then you get sprayed in the face.
yeah, that sounds like a no for me.
I've also seen other things where have you seen they have those coasters that just go in a circle?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
I'm
ring of
never gonna
fire.
do one of those either. Have you done one of those?
No, no.
I saw one where someone was up here and they puked and it hit the guys down there.
It'd be really funny if they puked and then they came around and they hit themselves.
That would be funny. No, that kind of stuff freaks me out too. My mom doesn't do rides at all. I guess she went on something when she was a kid, like at a carnival. And she said it was an octopus, but it's not like the octopuses I've ever been on. It's like a spinny thing. But she got a bloody nose, and it was two girls with her, and I guess they were covered in blood.
Oh man.
I think something like
Yeah,
that would freak me out.
I have a coworker who told me she was on one of the scrambler rides
Mhm.
and threw up, and it just like covered everyone that was standing off to the side.
Oh God! Have you ever been witness? I've seen people throw up after a ride, but never when I've been on one.
I have thrown up after a ride.
Okay, afterwards though, but not on it.
Yeah, never on a ride. No.
What made you throw up? What ride?
It it was the dumbest thing. It was called the Matterhorn. It was at the Puyallup Fair,
Uh huh.
but it's not like the Matterhorn at Disneyland. It's literally just like one of those rides that goes in a circle and like goes up and down.
Hmm.
And that's it. That's the whole ride. So I don't know what it was about it,
What'd
but
you
I had just
eat?
eaten like I think I ate a whole thing of cotton candy.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, and so I got off the ride and just like threw up blue.
Oh my gosh. There's another one I saw that kind of freaked me out, and I wish they would have shown if anything happened, but it was, we talked about them before, the rides that just go up and then drop.
Yeah, like it's extreme scream kind of ride. Yeah.
Yeah. So this girl's eating a corn dog, and her buddy is filming her, which, A, why does she have her phone on her? B, why
Neither of
is this
those
girl
things should be
gonna
happening.
why does she have a corn dog? Like,
Yeah,
I
neither of
would be
those things should be
terrified
happening.
that if I ran the ride that she's gonna choke on that.
Yeah,
I mean, she ends
exactly.
up just tossing it, and even that I don't think is really nice because there's a lot of people down below, and she probably hit someone with a corn dog, which is gross. But they didn't even worry that she could potentially choke.
On those rides, I always think of the episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they go to the Jersey
With
Shore.
Dee's hair.
Yeah, her braid gets stuck in the thing, and she's like, "Oh, pull it out!" And then it's like, "I stick my hand in the machine? No way!"
I would. Do you think that's happened to anybody? I mean, I know
Probably.
Fabio got hit by a seagull on a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that freak me out. I'm gonna check in with the chat here really quick. Orange Cat is sleeping in his fluffy bed. Oh, my Orange Cat. Yeah, he is. He tried to get in
Right
earlier.
behind you. Yeah.
He was doing some Jack Tor and stuff. No, those are the dogs. We got dogs
Oh,
and we got tarantulas. Pipkin's up and about. Uh, Someone says Six Flags has great rides. Yeah, I wanna go, but I don't know. I don't know. But see, the thing is, you can't even just be biased against a park because I've discovered watching all these videos, which I shouldn't be watching, that they will sell the ride to somebody else. So, like a lot of the ones
yeah.
we have at Scarywood, we have the first inverted roller coaster, the Corkscrew, but they got that I think from Knott's Berry Farm because it was originally a different park, and then we got it. And why do I say we? It's in Idaho. I don't own it. They have it. Oh my goodness.
I think Silverwood just got bought by the people that own Dollywood.
Really, I want to go to Dollywood so bad. Have you been to Dollywood?
I have not. I've done an episode on a ride at Dollywood, but I have not been myself.
I want to go to Dollywood, dude. We should just get like all our CryptoCon friends and go to Dollywood. What are we doing with our lives? Life's short, dude.
I'm saying.
We can be at Dollywood right now. Val says they have a coaster called the Superman was shaking when I got off the thing. Yeah, we talked about that. Lying face down the whole ride. Mm-mm. Heck no. Heck no. Went to
Well,
Magic
then there's
Mountain. Yeah. No tanning beds
that's
either. Oh, have you seen Aqua Slash?
no.
Oh, dude, see, that's a whole other thing. We got time. Um, Horror movies about theme parks.
Oh yeah.
So, we talked about Final Destination 3, which that
Mm-hmm.
one doesn't bother me as much just because it's so unlikely. Uh, but then there's Aqua Slash. It could happen. It could happen is what I'm saying. So you haven't seen it. So this
I don't know what this
person
is. I've never heard of it.
it's like a Danish film. I really liked it. Danny really likes it. So this person puts blades in the slide, and they wait because there's this tradition, like it's a high school graduation. So you know how sometimes high school graduations will take the whole senior class to a theme park or a water
Sure,
park,
yeah, we did
right?
that.
Yeah. So they always go to this same water park every year, and they always do this thing where they divide them into two groups and they have them race, but it's like they have a whole bunch of people go down at once, which you're not supposed to be able to do, but it's something the seniors do every year. So everyone knows they're going to do this, like have like 15 some odd people going down the slide at once holding on to each other. Like they know what's going to happen. And this killer wants to get back at these kids. So they put blades like an X in the slide. And it's so messed up because like the first one it just goes through, but then you have like 15 kids who know that guy just got eviscerated by the blades, and then they're just trying to like not slide down more, but then they also have a whole bunch of kids behind them, and then there's more kids coming down because they don't know what's going on, and then at the bottom of the slide there's just parts of people floating around. It's really
Damn.
cool. So cool.
That's extreme.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's called Aqua Slash. Are there any other
Yeah,
good
that thought of like seeing something happen to someone in front of you and not being able to control it happening to you that's just a sense of dread that is beyond reproach.
because you can't go back, you're only going
No,
forward, and that way is death.
that's horrifying.
It is horrifying, but it was also kind of funny, not gonna lie. Uh, Patrick went on the Batman ride. You guys are way more brave than me. Yeah, no.
Now that's the one where you lie down feet first, I believe.
The Batman ride?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's different than the Superman ride. Yeah, I think I've heard of that on like intense roller coaster things. Like when they give lists of the most intense ones. I think I've heard of that one before. Six Flags kind of makes me nervous because I feel like they're so focused on making them super scary that sometimes I worry that they're not that safe. I'm sure they are,
Sure.
but it just
Yeah.
makes me nervous. Whereas something I feel like Disney or Universal, I feel like they have more pressure on them. Universal
Mhm.
hasn't had that many, but I mean, like Disney, I think two people have died on the Matterhorn. It's not the ride you would think where people have died. It's always bizarre accidents that happen. So, oh, there's a lot of stuff in the chat. What's going on? We need more Garfield and Odie themed rides. There was one. So there's this disaster park channel, and sometimes he just talks about rides that for whatever reason went out of style, and so they closed them. So he'll give you the whole history. You would like this channel, Taylor. He'll give you the whole history on the ride. But there was a Garfield one, and I remember they had a lot of accidents, so that's when they got rid of.
Was that the one in Kennywood?
Yeah, that's the one. That's another one of those ones that was kind of notorious, like, and it hadn't always been a Garfield ride, so they tried rebranding it and changing the name, and eventually they just had to get rid of it. But see, here's the thing: like, I used to be afraid of spiders, and I have all these spiders now, right? Like, I'm not afraid of spiders at all, especially them dropping from the ceiling. Even in a movie, that would freak me out. And then I got a tiny little pet jumping spider, and now here I am, not afraid at all. That Harry Potter ride with all the spiders falling down and the cobwebs, like a boss. I want to be like that with roller coasters.
No
dude.
thing.
I want to.
You just got to work your way up.
I want to. Well, see, that's the thing. I've heard that you kind of got to start smaller, work your way up. Screaming helps. Keeping
Hmm.
your eyes open helps, and looking forward to the flippity flop. Like you're looking forward to getting scared during a horror movie. Looking at something like that's what I'm here to do. It's supposed to scare me a little bit in a safe way.
Yeah.
Changing your brain about it. But now that I know you're afraid too, I kind of want to drag you to Silverwood with us. Like make you and Tony go with us because we're gonna go with our father-in-law probably sometime in the spring or summer. Like spend a whole day there.
All
I
right.
also I don't get why do so many parks have half a water park and then half a theme park?
I don't know. I wonder if it's because they started as a water park and then they were like, we need something for the winter. Because like
See,
Wild Waves
yeah,
out here
Wild Waves
is,
has that,
yeah,
but
it used to be two parks actually. It was Wild Waves and Enchanted Village, and I don't know why they combined. I didn't know if Wild Waves like bought Enchanted Village or what exactly happened, but they just combined, and now it's just Wild Waves. But Wild Waves has all these roller coasters in it.
so when it comes to water parks, I am really, really picky. We have a really nice one in Lake Chelan. It's the best one. Just go to that one. I don't care if you live 5 states away. Just go to that one because apparently all the other ones might kill you. But ours is great. It's like a really big hill, so very few of the slides even go off the ground that much. There are some at the top, but they don't have a ton of slides. They're not ones where you're going up like the, the staircase for a really long way.
Hmm.
You're going up a hill. So it's fun. You go down to you take the slide, you go down, and you end up in a pool. You get out and you run up the hill. They have a couple other more extreme ones that I won't go down. There's one that's like a tunnel the whole way through, and I'm really claustrophobic, and I'm not going to do that. But it's a nice park. It's well kept. They're just doing that. There's a lot of people monitoring it. I've never heard of anything bad happening there. But then I see something like Wild Waves, and it looks crazy. It looks like one of those contraptions you'd build in Mousetrap, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to Wild Waves in a long time, but I remember going as a kid, and I loved the speed slides. Those were the ones that were always my favorite. The super tall, like super steep ones. Uh, yeah, I liked them. The honestly, the most dangerous ride at any water park is the wave pool.
Yeah, the raft ones, which I love those, but they are if there's going to be an accident, it's probably going to be one of those.
Yeah, it's always one of those.
Yeah, it was the Garfield Tunnel of Love. That's what it was. Yeah, Danny remembers. He knows what's up. It's okay. The channel's Defunct Land. So have you seen this channel?
Yes.
So you probably have a lot of channels that you check out for like your research and such, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, Defunct Land's a good one.
Yeah, Defunctland is a good one. Attractions 360 does a lot of really great ride throughs. Um, it's really the only two that I can think of off the top of my head. But
What's the scariest story you've ever heard of something happening at a theme park?
well, it was fictional, but there was a TV show where people got stuck upside down, and they were there for I think 12 hours.
What happened to you after 12 hours? Wouldn't you pass out?
I feel like you'd have to pass out. All the blood is rushing to your head.
Yeah,
Like that horrifies me.
that
That's one
scares
of the
me a
reasons I don't
lot.
want to go upside down because that just if I'm
I
gonna
don't
get
mind if
stuck,
it's
that's
really quick, but oh yeah.
yeah.
We have it right here at our carnival. And I got talked into going on it with some friends. Otherwise, I never would. But I was a teenager. I'm really dumb, guys. But it's called the Skymaster. You know what that is?
Mm-mm.
So you got like it's kind of like a train, like one little boat, and then one little boat here. Like they're two little hammer type things, and they go up like this, and then they go
Oh,
around.
okay, yeah. I've
Yeah,
seen rides like that. Yeah.
yeah, that got stuck upside down once, but
Ugh.
not with me in it. But the reason why it gets stuck upside down is because when it gets to because it's gradually going up like a sea dragon, but then it holds you at the top. But it's only holding you for a few seconds. But one time it did get stuck like that with people in it, not me, but other people got stuck in it. But it wasn't.
That's the thing is I think it's really hard to get stuck upside down because most of the time it's based on like centrifugal force.
Yeah,
And so it's not like you're going to go and stop. You would either roll backwards or fall,
I think it's
which
because
is
that was
also horrifying.
designed to hold you, and for some reason, it was like everyone made a big deal about it when it happened, but it wasn't that long. It was only a few
It
minutes.
just balanced perfectly for whatever reason.
I think it's just because it holds you there, and whatever they're supposed to do to release it, I'm not sure what happened, but it wasn't that long. People made a huge deal about it. It was only like 2 or 3 minutes. But considering how normally it's only a few seconds and it feels like a lot, I can imagine it
I was
was
going to say
scary.
when you're in there, that probably felt like an
Well,
hour.
and they don't know how long it's gonna be. We got
Yeah.
Jason Rushman in the chat. What's up? My dog is being crazy. Come here. Come here. Come say hi to Taylor. Come on. I hear Taylor's dog too. Maybe you and his dog could be friends. Did you see Hellfest?
I did see Hellfest. Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin helped write that. Seth.
Yeah.
You met Seth. He was at CryptoCon.
Yeah.
That's something that makes me. I think about a lot with haunts too, especially because there are real stories. There's one where they had a real dead body there. They didn't realize it wasn't fake. They just bought it as a prop.
I heard about that. Yeah.
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 But you don't know who these people are. These are people who are paid to scare you. I mean, normally I've experienced they're just people having fun. I've never been to anything really extreme though.
No, I don't do extreme haunts. I don't anything I have to sign a waiver. That's not happening.
Heck no. I like the ones where I know for a fact they're not gonna touch me. I'm not gonna touch them. They're just gonna try. You know, they will get up in your face like really because they want to make you jump. Especially at Scary, where they had a lot of people who would they had like noisemakers and stuff, so they do it right by your ear to make you jump, but they're not gonna actually grab you or anything. Like that's the stuff that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I don't care if they touch me, if it's like, a hand on the shoulder or, maybe brushing my hair or something like that. That's fine. Just as long as not like brushing my hair, just like
I guess gave me a visual. Like I said, R.I.P. So
you're so pretty.
I did the Killer Clowns one, which got to be one of my favorite mazes of all time. Oh, I loved it so much, and I'm such a Killer Clowns fan. But Jumbo, the guy who's in the Jumbo costume, stepped on my foot, and he totally broke character. He's like, "I'm sorry." I'm like, "It's cool, dude." Like, it's not a big deal. Things happen. But oh my gosh, it was so fun. At the end of it, they had Shorty, Shorty, and I was just like, "I love you," and he gave me little hard hands. It was like my happiest moment of my life. Like that, then my kid being born, and maybe getting my dogs. It was so great, amazing. Yeah, but I've never felt like I was really in danger in a haunt. I think you're more in danger maybe with ones that are just kind of thrown together in your town if kids don't know what they're doing.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I worked in one here in Wenatchee, and I know people would like grab people and stuff because we had an award if you made somebody pee themselves, which I won one year. I was so proud of myself, and I wasn't even really trying to. So, in my haunt that I was in, I'm on a table, and my leg has to go through this hole so it looks like it's cut off. And mostly I would get paired with a guy who has to be like the doctor, and I have a sheet over me, and then it's his job to like announce everything and freak them out, and then he pulls off the sheet, and then I scream and lurch forward, but I don't actually grab anybody. I just kind of reach my hand out really close to them. But one time I really nearly like grabbed the girl because I can't see where I'm going. They pull off the sheet, and I'm like, ah, and she peed, and I felt really bad. But then I got an award, and I felt really good. So it was cool. And I earned it because you get monster breaks when you do that. So monster breaks are like every 20 minutes, someone will come by and be like, "You want to go have a cigarette? You want to go get a drink or something?" No, if your leg's in the freaking hole, you're there all day. So.
Yeah, I worked at one in my hometown, and I had a guy try to fight me.
What?
There was a room there was just a bunch of masks and gloves on the wall. And a couple of them, you could go behind the wall and you could stick your face in the mask and stick your hands through the gloves. And so this guy was in the room, and I put my face in the mask, and he had his back to me, but he was like up against the wall. So I just kind of tapped him on the shoulder. And he turns around and he's just like, "You're not allowed to touch me. Who's in there? Come out here right now." And I just like pulled my hands out of the gloves and walked away. And so he was sitting there screaming at a hole in the wall.
Wow.
Part of me wanted him to like punch the mask and have it just cave in and have him freak out because there was nobody there.
That would be crazy. Checking in with the chat. Yeah. I think I'm more worried about kind of like a lot of the small town ones where they just have the teenagers and stuff. But you hear about the really extreme ones. There was that guy, I think he was in Jersey, where you had to sign a waiver and they would do unpredictable things to you, like bury you in a coffin and such. And
Is that McCamey Manor?
Yeah. So you know what's up. Yeah,
Yeah, that guy's
people.
nuts.
He would shave people's heads and stuff.
Yeah, he'd wrap your head in duct tape.
Yeah, yeah.
Insane.
Why
And he had a
would
waiting list. I don't understand.
I don't understand it either. I guess I mean I've heard people explain it with roller coasters that you're looking for something that's actually going to get a reaction out of you because nothing really gets a reaction out of you anymore. You've been on so many coasters. And I guess maybe some people are like that with haunts, but that does not sound fun to me. Like at
No,
all.
absolutely not.
I don't want to be duct tape. I don't want my head shaved.
I don't want to be
I want to be
tortured.
no. That there's a difference between going to a haunt and being tortured. They're completely different things. And I think what I like about theme parks and what I like about horror movies and all those things is it does give you that adrenaline rush, but you know you're
Hmm.
safe.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I
But
would know I'm
I don't want to
safe.
sign my life away to this maniac and tell him, you can do whatever you want to me because I don't know who this person is. I don't know that he's going to keep me safe. And when he starts wrapping my head in duct tape, like how do I know that he's not going to just keep going until I can't breathe?
Like that's insane. I'm surprised more people haven't reported just horrible injuries and stuff. I mean, even just having a traumatic experience, I think you would remember that for the rest of your life. And
I'm, I would think, yeah.
that's horrifying. Dude needs to watch more Scooby Doo. Uh, do you consider escape rooms part of your whole theme park thing that you do on Wild Mouse?
I think that they're theme park adjacent. They're kind of in the same family. Um, I really enjoy escape rooms. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I've never talked about an escape room on the show. I would maybe do like a bonus episode on a escape room, but I don't think I would make it part of the main
Well, I would
show.
if you did. The Evil Dead 2 one is
Oh, it's
amazing.
great. It's great.
Yeah, that one's so good. They put so much work into it. So guys, I didn't want to go to an escape room because I'm, as forementioned, claustrophobic. And it was Danny's birthday and Danny's favorite movie of all time is Evil Dead 2. So we took him and it wasn't bad at all because the whole top part's open. The door, like you push it and it opens. So you never feel like you're locked in there. And you got this walkie
Mhm.
talkie, but they put so much work into making it look exactly like the cabin. So cool.
Yeah, Seth at Hourglass Escapes. Actually, he let us do like a pre-show kind of trial thing for the podcast.
For
So,
a grave plot.
yeah, yeah. And so we got to experience it kind of before it was open to the public, and um, it's it was funny because like you don't need to have seen the movie to beat it. It's not like there's things where it's like trivia or anything that you would only know if you've seen the movie, but it does help.
I think so too, and I think you'll certainly understand what the little Easter eggs and such are, like the hand and all that. Like if you've seen the movie, it's really fun. But I just loved it because you have the first room that's like the cabin, and
Mhm.
then you go into the kitchen because I thought that was it. And then there's the kitchen, and that looks amazing. And they did all these fun little jokes in there, like the Campbell soup. And then you go into the shed. It was so cool. It was
Yeah,
just such a ride. Like that felt like you're being in a horror movie. So awesome. So, oh, I have another question for you. Have you heard of any Scooby Doo rides? I know there's a Scooby Doo escape room.
I don't think so.
Why don't they have Scooby Doo rides?
I
Peanuts has
don't
got Knott's
know.
Berry Farm. Garfield's had them. What about Scooby Doo?
I mean, who owns the rights to Scooby Doo? Is that Hanna
Warner
Barbera?
Brothers.
Okay,
I
well,
mean,
Warner
it's
Brothers
Hanna
doesn't have a
Barbera,
theme
but
park, so
it's Hanna Barbera, but I believe Warner Brothers owns Hanna Barbera. I think. Yeah. Right? Someone in the chat, let me know.
okay. So apparently there is one in Canada.
What? Canada gets everything. So
Boo
spoiled.
Blasters on Boo Hill.
All right, but like, you'd think there would be more. I would think
Oh, here we
Scooby
go.
Doo.
Scooby Doo Spooky Coaster
Where's
in
that?
Australia.
Australia? Do they even know what Scooby Doo is over there?
Okay, Scooby's Ghoster Coaster at Kings Island in Ohio.
Everything cool is far away.
Yeah.
Patrick, you've never been in an escape room. You should check it out. Like I told you, I was really nervous about it, and it's super fun. And just solving the puzzles, and if especially I think if it's something themed around something you enjoy, like the Evil Dead 2 one. I know there's one in Oregon that's a Scooby Doo one, and my son and I really want to go to that. But that's super fun. I think it's another fun little adrenaline thing. That's also kind of a video game. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
What do you think are some of the most underrated rides you've been on?
Ooh, underrated. Um, that is an excellent question. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say that anything at Disneyland is really underrated. Um, I will say when I took my brother, I was really worried that we would go on Haunted Mansion and he wouldn't enjoy it because it's not a thrill ride and he's a big roller coaster guy. But thankfully, he understood that the aesthetic is the whole part of it. Uh, yeah, I think just like dark rides in general, I think are a little underrated because people want to be on the biggest, best roller coaster that, you know, the fastest, most upside down, and so dark rides kind of get forgotten a lot of times. Things like Haunted Mansion or Pirates of the Caribbean, not Small World. I'm not a fan of Small World.
Yeah, I didn't do that one. That one kind of freaked me out. Is it a dark ride now? I think last time I went, it was animatronics.
Well, yeah, it's all animatronics, but you start. I mean, you start outside, but then the whole thing is indoors. So yeah, it's basically a
See,
dark ride. It's
you
it's a
mentioned
dark water ride.
you mentioned that movie where they played the song over and over again. I think getting trapped in Small World that would do you in. They made that movie there too. That remember
Um,
Escape
Escape
some
from Tomorrow.
yeah. I've never seen that.
Yeah,
But they
me
filmed
neither.
it
I'm curious
illegally.
about it.
They filmed it
Yeah, it was all
illegally
gorilla
in the
style.
Small World ride, but I think that could actually drive you insane.
I think so. Yeah, we broke down on Haunted Mansion, and so we just heard grim grinning ghosts over and over and over and over again. And my brother was just like, "We're getting to a point where I'm going to start freaking out." Like,
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. How do you feel about animatronics?
I mean, they're getting better all the time. The first time I went on Smuggler's Run, I thought it was a guy in a costume until I
Hmm.
like finally realized it was an animatronic. Some of the ones now are just so smooth that it's like having a person there. It's really impressive now, and then it's funny to go and get on one of the older rides, and you can hear them like clack 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 as they move. Like
Yeah, my son, when the Five Nights at Freddy's games were starting to become a big deal, I took him to Rocky and Bullwinkle's. It's over near Federal Way, and they've
in
got some
Tukwila,
rides.
yeah.
They've got some rides and such there, but they're old. The animatronics there are so old and so creepy. Like, if you want the Five Nights at Freddy's experience, guys, and you're in Washington State, that's what I recommend. It's because Chuck E. Cheese, they've changed it all. It's all a big screen and stuff now. But yeah, those are old animatronics. But comparing it to something like I was telling you about the Secret Life of Pets ride, like it's almost like a 3D cartoon come to life. I mean, they look
Yeah, it
just like
really
a
is.
movie. So they do such a good job. It's getting really crazy. Anyway, we are going to wrap it up here. Tell us what you're working on Grave Plot, when the film festival's coming up, what's next on Wild Mouse.
Yeah, so Great Plot Podcast. We took a bit of a hiatus because Tony just had his second kid, but we are back now in full force. We just did our Octoberama, which is where we do an episode every week as opposed to every other week, and every episode has a theme. We do zombies, vampires, and then we kind of have a float week, and then we do a Halloween special. We just put out an episode last week where we talked about Black Phone 2 and Together. And next episode, this is again a little spoiler for your viewers here. We're going to be talking about Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmares and Bambi the Reckoning. I'm really excited about that
Have you
because
seen it?
Tony and I, not yet. Tony and I are the only two people on Earth, I think, that really likes the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movies.
I didn't like the first one, but I did see it because my small town got it. We didn't even get Terrifier 2. We got that. So we saw it and I was like, it's not great. The second one was actually pretty good. And I
I
thought
like
the
them both.
trailer for Bambi the Reckoning looked really good. So that one I'm
Yeah,
kind of curious to see because I thought it looked pretty good. Guys, the link to the Grave Plot podcast is in the chat, and that and Wild Mouse are both in the description. So definitely check them out. They're available on Spotify, all of the places. Apple.
yeah, and then
YouTube. Well, you
Yeah,
guys
then
haven't been doing the YouTube as much.
no, we don't do any YouTube stuff. We're just purely audio. But we do have Great Plot Film Fest coming up. Like I said, February 7th, 2026 at Central Cinema in Seattle. It's going to be 4 hours of short horror films from all over the world. It's a lot of fun. GreatPlotFilmFest.com. You can go and get tickets right now. And then, Wild Mouse is wildmousepodcast.com. New episodes every other Wednesday featuring a new guest host talking about an individual ride or experience or show. We haven't really gotten into anything other than rides yet, but I do have an episode on a restaurant coming up soon. And like Gory said, she's going to be talking about Secret Life of Pets on an upcoming episode. So
You're gonna do a
keep
restaurant?
that.
Which restaurant?
Blue Bayou in Disneyland.
Very cool. My son really wants to go to the Rainforest Cafe, and the closest one's in Vegas, and he wants us to make a whole road trip of it. So we might.
That's a hell of a road trip for Rainforest Cafe.
People are gonna be like, "What'd you go to Vegas for? Rainforest Cafe? Did you gamble?" No. That's my son for you in a nutshell. But thank you guys in the chat. It was so nice to see Patrick and Val and Danny and Jason. It's always so nice to see you guys. Oh, wait. I did promise I was going to give away memberships, didn't I? I did.
You said you would, yeah.
I did, and I didn't do it. I'm going to do it right now. Membership gifting. Okay, here they come. Yeah, send 5 now. Yay! So let's see who got them. This part's fun. Ooh, Chud's
I have no idea what's going on.
So if you have a YouTube channel, you can do memberships. And so memberships give you things like emojis. It gives you badges by your name. I produce members only content every Friday. So sometimes it's a live stream where we just game or just anything too off what I normally do on the channel. I do on the members thing. And I don't usually
Foot
do
stuff.
Yeah. Sitting on cakes, I don't usually do a lot of new releases because I don't want to get stuck in the having to go see it right away because I don't usually see them right away. But I will do that for the members. So yeah, there's a lot of bonus stuff there. You can be on a stream with me. It's a fun stuff. Anyway, or just supporting the channel. Plus, I like giving them memberships because then you can see all the people who are lurking and not in the chat. So congratulations, Chad's Corner, Quirk, Flamethrower, Kelly. Oh, hey, Kelly. And Dougie Fresh. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And their names are going to be in the credits. And you know who is a member of the channel? You are.
Me?
Yeah, dude, you have been a member since forever. What the fuck?
Oh.
Well, on Patreon. On Patreon.
Oh, yes, on Patreon, yes.
So it's my members and my Patreon. So the things like the live streams, I just post them directly to Patreon. So you still get everything they get here, except for like the badges and stuff. But then Patreon has other bonuses. So it's whatever platform you like more. But yeah, on Fridays, if you and Taylor want to check it out on Patreon, we have like game nights and stuff that we do. That's the next one we're doing is we're going to do like a Jackbox game night. So yeah, lots of fun
nice.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, I will say Great Plot Podcast and Wild Mouse both have a Patreon as well. Great Plot Podcast, you can join us live while we record and kind of put in your own contributions to our news segment. And then Wild Mouse has a bonus episode every month.
Very cool. I am a patron, so I can vouch for this. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Taylor. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Getting to know you better. I look forward to seeing you at Crypticon. Hopefully see you before then. Hopefully I can go to that film festival because I had a lot of fun the last time I went.
Would love to see you.
Thank you so much. And until we meet again, blessed be.